Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. We're back on the website of Interenchère, the French auction portal, and we're going to have a look at another auction by Vichy Auctions based in France. So we're going to do another auction blitz here. If you haven't seen my other video, basically Vichy, big auction house in France, do quite a lot of auctions, and they have 3 auctions back to back coming up, and this is the second one, which is finishing on the 26th of March. It's the 24th today. The first auction had some musical instruments and then a few violins, etc. This is mainly violin family instruments and a few bows. So we're just going to have a quick look and see what's going on, really, if there's anything interesting. Now, 400 lots in this auction, super long, so we're just going to super speed blitz through it. It's going to be loads of French stuff, loads of trade stuff that we can just go through. 25% is the buyer's premium, so whatever the hammer price is, you need to put 25% on top. French auction, so if you're buying from abroad, bear that in mind, all the fees associated with it, CITES, etc. If you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, we're just going to blitz through it because we've got another catalogue that we've got to do as well. So, right, let's crack on. Let's have a look at this one here. Violin, probably from the German school, fairly good condition there. Okay, 363 length back there, 300 to 400 euros. So this auction is already a little bit higher than the previous auction. Check out the channel to see that video. So we're already kind of one step up here, but nothing insane jumping out at me. Let's have a quick look at a JTL violin because we ignored quite a few in the other auction. Fairly standard fare, nothing much going on. You can see that most of these violins need a bit of setup. We've got some kind of generic 20th century stuff with the branding of Steiner on the back, so I think we all know what those look like. 19th century Mircore violin that's been retouched, at least on the headstock. Actually quite nice scroll on that, nice back, so yeah, quite nice turns on the scroll. 365, huge. They do like them big, the French, for some reason, not quite sure why. Carrying on here, French violin, 18th century, which always is sort of interest to me. Numerous traces of worm. 354 length of back there. Got a double bass, actually. Interesting little double bass from the 19th century. Okay, 500 to 600 there. It's definitely had a bit of a life for sure. But yeah, interesting. Good to see something a bit different. We've got some other stuff here. Let's have a look at some bows. Got a German violin bow, kind of interesting frog there, quite a nice head. A lot of the bows will have some kind of issues. Got a half-size violin bow by Francois Lot. That's quite sweet, 150 to 200 euros. Looks fairly decent. Got a whole load of JTL bows here. Probably see some fairly nice stuff. They do a lot of interesting bows, actually. For sure. Let's have a look at this Mircore bow, 1870. Needs definitely a bit of work, but kind of interesting enough. 80 to 100 euros. You can't really argue with that. So these are good bargain auctions. A few more bows there. It's going to be like this throughout the whole catalogue. Basically a sea of French violins, some kind of trade stuff, and the occasional interesting things. The bows, I think, are usually better in these auctions. So we've still got a whole load of stuff here. Let's have a look at this German kind of violin there. Yeah, kind of fairly interesting back. Bit of a project for someone there. Set of 2 late 19th, early 20th century Mircore violins. So there you go. Always an option. I don't know where they find them all, to be honest, in this auction house. They're endlessly finding these violins. But they did churn them out in Mircore as much as they churn them out in Germany. So that kind of makes sense. Let's have a look at this 19th century German violin. Various restorations there. It's definitely had a bit of a life. 50 to 60 euros. So at least it's a fair kind of estimate there. Okay, interesting. Violin by Charles Jean-Baptiste Leon Economizer. Mircore 1969. Okay, so it's quite a late one there. Okay, interesting. 700 to 800 euros. That is quite interesting. We're back into the bow land as well. Let's see if there's anything interesting there. Usually in these auctions you get some pretty cool French bows, some kind of Picat school kind of stuff turning up of some degree. Let's see what else we've got here. Fairly standard looking stuff. Going to be quite ruthless in this catalogue here. It's just a lot of the same kind of stuff here, or JTL bits and pieces. It's interesting, a JTL violin that someone's done a bit of a paint job on it. Curious. 200 300 euros, that seems a bit optimistic. Anyway, Miracle violin, around 1870, Darazi school. See, scroll's fairly nice on that. A few more things. Back to bows. JTL bow here. Some of these JTL bows are quite nice. They're pretty good. So you've got many opportunities here. Ironwood violin bow here, Simon school. See a lot of those ironwood bows around. Back to a few more instruments here. Let's see what else. 19th century Miracle there. Do quite like those, 200 to 300. 20th century. Let's see, lots and lots of projects here for sure. More of these kind of 19th century Miracle stuff, fairly all similar shapes. That's quite a nice looking bow actually. No, not that one, that's the wrong one. This is interesting. Yeah, without fittings, head joint, split button. It's had a very big repair there, but it's a shame actually. Interesting looking bow, 300 to 400 euros. Some interesting bits here. Peugeot school here. That as well. Interesting. Quite like that stick in that head. That's very sharp. That's quite a nice bow. 2 to 300. That's pretty cool. I do like that. Some Bazar workshop bow here. Needs a bit of TLC. It's got a bit of a kick there that might need to be recambered a bit, but nevertheless interesting. We're just blitzing through. That's an interesting frog, half size bow there. Yeah. Shortened and modified to make a smaller one. Okay, interesting. Here we go, Picat school. As I was saying, we usually see some of these half size though. 150 to 200 on that. Looks quite neat. Peugeot school. Some interesting stuff. Right, back to instruments. We haven't really seen many super decent instruments in this sale so far. It's all fairly standard, which is a shame. I was hoping that we might see something a bit more interesting, but bow section definitely a bit more curious. Some more JTL stuff. Okay, another interesting bow. Bizarre school cello bow, ironwood, 150 to 200. I don't think it's a bad idea buying bows in ironwood sticks or amaret or abil or kind of anything like that, to be honest, especially kind of with the possibilities that Pernambuco might get CITES listed at some point. Bazar school viola bow there, ironwood. Yeah, interesting bows for sure. The thing about these Vichy auctions, always have some really interesting bows. 19th century German cello head there, 100 to 150. It's quite cool. Some more kind of standard stuff here. Just hoping for just a couple of interesting instruments somewhere, but we're not really getting any. Here's another one of these kind of 19th century French ones, but this one is Didier Nicolas Aine model. They're all fairly similar, and there's so many of them about, to be honest. But they are pretty cool. Right, violin bow by Nicolas Simon, son of Jean, in ironwood. Definitely needing a fair bit of restoration on that. Couple of pages left to go. Some more bows there. Violin bow stick by Lebert. That could be quite nice. Right, some more instruments here. 3/4 size cello. We're still searching for something interesting. Another JTL workshop violin there. Fairly standard. 19th century German violin. 20th century German violin. Fairly good condition. It's all fairly standard so far. Okay, another double bass. 20th century. Not the highest quality. So, some more French stuff here. Right, half-size double bass bow. I like these double bass bows with this kind of tightening mechanism. I think they're pretty curious. Here's a full-size version there. It's by Charles Nicolas Bazin. Okay, right, higher level bow there. Violin bow by Francois Lot. Made circa 1945. More interesting bows there. Peugeot school. Okay, another head here. 20th century German cello. Quite nice scroll. Varnish is quite nice on that. Some more Miracor stuff. 20th century Miracor violin signed Gandolfi. Let's have a quick look at that. Fairly standard. Let's see what else we got. 19th century violin, the Tenoni label, the JHL. A 19th century cello there with a label for Presenda without fingerboard. That's pretty interesting looking F-holes there for sure. Nicolas Morlot, 1820. It's another one of these things. Oh, that's actually quite an interesting, like, Napoleonic scene that a lot of these instruments used to have. That's actually quite nice. 3 to 400, 366. They're absolutely huge, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Quite like that. It's quite nice looking. That's one of the nicer looking scenes. So quite like that. Shame it is absolutely huge, but we'll bear that in mind because that might make a good cover image actually. Let's see, we've got more stuff here. Some more bows. We're on to the last page. Are we going to get anything crazy coming in? Anything super interesting? Some German bows there. This is another German bow. Always find that kind of an interesting frog eye. I think that is it. Okay. So there we have it. That is the end of the Vichy auction for the 26th of March. Was it exciting? Not really, to be honest. A few interesting things. Definitely some good bows. Instruments, fairly generic in my opinion, but worth checking out anyway. I'll put a link in the description as always. See if there's anything that you like. And check in soon for the last auction in this instalment of 3. So thanks a lot for watching as always. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.